Hey, what's up everybody? Dan Nussmeyer here, Pro Staff with Thompson Tackle. And coming to you on a kind of a dreary, cool, rainy, late spring evening. I wanted to come to you guys tonight and talk to you a little bit about bed fishing. And this is, to me, it's one of my favorite times of the year. It's when you get these big megas. They come up in the shallow to make a nest and lay their eggs. And it's a fish that one time out of the year, you know, the great big ones, one time out of the year, they come up shallow where you can see them and you got a real good chance of catching them. So I really enjoy this. This is my favorite time of year. It's been kind of a off spring, you know, unstable weather, and it's taken a while to warm up, so it's late. But I think there was a pretty good wave of fish came up this last full moon we had here last week. So I've got a trip planned tomorrow to a local clear water lake where it's kind of known for bed fishing, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm just kind of out here getting my gear rigged up and getting what I think is going to be the deal ready to go. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about one of my favorite ways to get on them when they're on the bed, and that is a night crawler or a Thompson Tackle night crawler or a Cinco. But and most people fish it wacky style, which I love to do that. Don't get me wrong, that's probably one of the most tried and true ways of finesse fishing to get bites when everything's tough and they just seem like they got lockjaw. That's one of the best ways there is to get bites. But what I do with it is a little different, and I'm sure there's other people out there that do it. But I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that and give you a couple of tips in case you don't know how to, or haven't seen how to rig up a wacky rig. They've got a tool here called a spool, and what the deal is there's lots of little O-rings on there, and when you want to rig up one, you just slide one over that flange there, and it's open-ended on the end. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the head, which is usually closer to the center of the bait, and drop it down in that hole, and then literally just push your O-ring over the edge and pop. There it is. So once you've got your O-ring, and by the way, Thompson Tackle, I mean, this is quality stuff. You know, this is not a bait that you're going to buy and get one fish out of it, because as soon as you set the hook or he grabs the tail of it or something and you pull it away from him, it's going to break in two. I fished a tournament over at Kim Money the other night, and I caught at least 12 fish that were just short of the limit, and I caught probably 7 or 8 of them at least on one night crawler. So this is good stuff. Check them out on Facebook, Thompson Tackle. Give them a like. And I promise you won't be disappointed. But anyway, back to the rigging here. So once you've got your O-ring on, you're going to take a little, like I said, this is just one of the ways I fine tune it. Take a little weight. You can buy these weights at any tackle retailer, or you can just take like a finishing nail and cut one down, or even if you have a small enough finishing nail, you can just shove the whole thing in there. But what you do is you take that weight, there's the head of the bait right there, and you're going to slide, you're going to push that weight up in there. Get it up in there, I'll show you here in just a second. You get that weight up in there, and what that's going to do, it's going to do two things. Put this down for a second. It's going to do two things. It's going to when you cast it and it hits the water, it's gonna dart. It's gonna dart down. It's either gonna dart off to the side or it's gonna fall straight down, but it's gonna do it a lot quicker than it would if it didn't have any weight in it. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna trigger a reaction strike. Bass is a instinctive feeder and a reactive feeder. So when something comes flying by them, if they're not hungry, they're gonna bite it out of reaction. That's just, they're a predator. And that is what a reaction strike is. So that's gonna get you some reaction strikes. And the other thing it's going to do is when it goes into the bed, it's going to stand there like that, maybe at a little bit of an angle, but it's going to be upright. It's not going to fall down to the bottom and lay flat on the bottom. It's going to be upright, and that looks more like a critter trying to get in their bed and steal the eggs or eat the eggs or kill them or whatever they're trying to do. It's going to look more like that situation to that bass. So once you get your weight in there, this is really important too. What I'm about to show you is really important. You get that weight in there. What you want to do when you rig this thing, when you hook it, is you hold it where your weight's hanging down and your hook point is pointing up. And you want to hook it through your O-ring, just like so, going up toward the tail. And when it's hanging in the water, your hook point will be pointed back toward your boat, back toward your rod. And what that does is when that bait gets down in the bed, and it's pointed, its nose down in the bed, and you're twitching your line, and he's just dancing all over the place in front of that fish. That bass, he's not on the bottom. He's suspended up above his bed, guarding it, looking around, protecting the eggs, keeping the little fish run off. So he's up above it, 6 inches, maybe a foot. And when that bait gets in the bottom, nose down, what he's going to do, he's going to inflate his bladder, or he's going to use his fins, and he's going to nose down on that bait. He's going to get above it and he's going to look at it, nose down on it. And I don't know if you've ever seen a bass feed or not, but they have tremendous amount of suction when they open their mouth and eat. So he's going to go nose right up to that thing and suck it in. And when he does, he's going to be sucking it in from the back like this. And so when you set the hook, that hook is going to be trying to drive naturally. It's going to drive up in the roof of his mouth, right there. And if you feel in your mouth, that's your palate. That's where it's real tough, and that's where you want to get him. You pin him right there in the roof on his lip or in that palate, he ain't coming off. So that's really key how you rig that up, and that will give you more action too on your retrieve if you're going to work it back to the boat past the bed. But that, I guarantee you, will increase the amount of hookups that you get. So another thing I want to touch on real quick is my setup. When I'm bed fishing, I like a short rod because a lot of times you're going to have funky angles. You're going to be kind of up under a tree or maybe back up where it's real skinny in the shallows. And you're not going to have to make a real far cast. Like I said, you may have to skip it up underneath a limb or make a short pitch. And you can't do that with a 7.5 foot rod. So when I'm bed fishing, I like a 6.5 foot medium fast. And what that is it's got a pretty good backbone in it to handle a good fish, but it's got a really soft tip, really fast tip right there. And when you're fishing these Senkos, that's what you want. You want something with a fast tip where you can really make that thing dance in the bed. You want to make that thing shake and twitch in the bed to just drive that fish nuts and make him think that your bait's down there eating all of his eggs. So I like a short rod, 6'6". I fish a Loomis. There's lots of good rods out there. I fish a G Loomis, 6.5 foot, and medium fast. And then I pair it with a Lose. I like a high-speed reel just so I can take up that slack. You want to be able, when you throw it in there, and the fish grabs it immediately or gets it on the fall, you want to be able to take up that slack as much as you can. And when I set the hook, when you're finesse fishing, You don't want to reel down your rod tip down to the end of down to the water and take a drop step, you know, like you're going to throw a 60-yard touchdown pass. You just want to, all you want to do, you're going to have a little belly in your line. You're going to want to tighten up that slack to that fish. And all I do is I literally just get tight and I put my weight into it. You know, a little bit faster than that, but I don't reel down and crack them or side hook or anything like that. I just reel down, put my weight into them. If you got a good drag set, if you have your drag set right, then you're going to be able, that fish is going to be able to run, and you're going to be able to fight him and keep him away from any obstacles and get him in the boat. So those are just a few things that I wanted to talk to you guys about and share with you. It may be something you already knew, but if it wasn't, I hope it helps you out. We've got a really intense pool tournament going on here right now. But say hi, Nolan, Niall.
Nolan, hi.
So, hey, I hope this helped you guys out, and I hope everybody's faring well with the virus and staying healthy. I know if you're like me, you've been itching to be out on the water and get things going. So I think we're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. And like I said, I hope this helped you out, and stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there on the lake sometime. Have a good one. Thompson Tackle, Facebook, give them a like.